My name is Veronika, and I would like to start by giving YouTube a shout out. I do not look at any news if it does not make it on YouTube. It's not big enough. So, hey, YouTube, thank you for the opportunity to start my journey for the end. Hey, YouTube, remember before YouTube, how did you learn stuff? You ask auntie and you ask uncle and what information they give us. We just like, that lasts us, So, thank you, YouTube, which takes us to the election. But first, I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, which is right at the tip of South America. Unfortunately, in those times, with our educational system, we did not learn Spanish, but our English is the Queen's English. I want to ask you this. Do you remember the last election when President Biden chose Kamala Harris? And even before he chose her, her rating already went up. People were already in favor of her. Then when he chose her, her rating was high. After the election, her rating was even higher than his. And the whole administration shut her down. I don't want to say like anything about color and stuff like that, but if you are, like one of the minorities, you will know what it is like to be shut down. From Trini knows God is a Trini. So there's always some element of surprise. Everywhere you think he's gonna be is always somewhere different. So I already have an idea, but I don't want to say it, and that's why I don't want to say it, because if I say it, he's gonna switch it. So I already think I know. Actually, I am psychic. Yeah, I was born with a veil over my face. The nurse had to like lift it up to see my face. And because of that, I can see the other dimension mixed into this one. And as a kid, it was very confusing because I couldn't tell which was real and which is not. As a matter of fact, I still have that problem now, because sometimes then I get a mirror effect. Like everything is going along real good and then it's not real. It's a mirror effect. So that's one of my, we'll talk about that later. But what I want to say is that I am psychic and I do get messages. And I want to tell you, if something happened in an emergency, what are you going to take with you? Do you know what you're going to grab? Like you have to run out of the house right now. You don't have time to pack a bag or grab anything. Maybe just grab one thing. What are you going to take with you? You need a backpack. Definitely, I was told jeans and sneakers for sure. So you need a backpack with you, whatever. You know what you need. And especially, unperishable snacks and stuff like that. Like emergency stuff. Put your important papers in sandwich bags. Get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom and you brush your teeth. Don't leave without taking a shower. And get dressed one time for the day. Even if you're not dressed to go out, have your clothes and sneakers, jeans and sneakers ready right there. All right? Take this seriously. Have it ready. I remember my mom asked me, if something happened, what will you take? And I was like, your passport, your driver's license, and you know what important papers that is necessary for you. So you put that in a plastic bag or make a cup. I don't know what. Just have that ready. Just be ready. Because shit is about to happen. Can I say shit? Oh crap. It's about to happen. This is why I started this. So, this is why I started this channel. This morning, when I went to run, I don't know if you listened to my last video, so I'll reiterate. At 3 a.m., a lot of people wake up at 3 a.m. That's when God waking me up. At 3 a.m., I am showered, dressed, and ready to go. I'm back home by 5 a.m. So this morning, I go to a parking lot. I go to a parking lot. Of course, I don't want to tell you exactly where it is because I don't know who they are. But it's a large parking lot. It's a shopping mall. I usually go there because I have gym membership, but I don't go to the gym because the gym does not have, you know, where you put the shopping carts, those bars. Those are what I use to stretch. Like I get a really good stretch from that, so I use those bars. Plus, I love the sky. I love this. I love to be outdoors. That helped me so much when I was homeless because I love being outdoors. My daughter told me to watch my bottom lip. I can't see it. So to continue on, this morning when I went there, right where I park, you know, which is almost to the end of the park and not close to the road because I want to be isolated but not too isolated. I have a 360 view, you know, it's like perfect. But in the back of there's a Walmart over there, right? And in the back there is where the trucks should be. But are they over there? No, they're all parked in my area where I work out. Because it's escalating, you know. That's why I would pushed to make this video because I don't know how it's gonna end. I don't know how it's gonna end or where it's gonna go. So this morning they were all parked right where I'm supposed to be, but they leave my little spot by the railway I'm supposed to be. But as soon as I got there, I forgot. Okay, in the last video I talked about how they shut my Bluetooth off and it's hard to explain or understand, whatever. But how could you shut a phone that you plug in? It's not Bluetooth, it's plugged into the phone. How could you shut it off? That's some high shit technology. That's some high shit. And why would you want to do that? That's my big question. Okay, so I have to put my phone on airplane mode. But this morning, I forgot to turn it on airplane mode before I left my house. So when I got there and I turned it on airplane mode, it was still picking up Wi-Fi. I don't know why they want to stop me from chanting in the morning. It's funny. We got to talk more about that too in depth because as a matter of fact, I'll tell you some about it right now. Like for example, when I first started, I started in Delray Beach. That was before the stars aligned. I started in Delray Beach, and then I thought it was just creeps. And then I saw the police, and I'm paying attention. I saw an airplane every morning as I opened the door at 3 o'clock. There's the airplane right there. So I didn't pay much attention. I just thought it was funny. Then of course, you know, being homeless, you move around a lot. Plus I had lost my friend who I was staying with and her house in the tornado. So that was really sad. I would like to give her a shout out because she really helped me when I was down and she saved me just when I was about to commit suicide. So I like to give her a shout out. But the sad part about it is that she went into the hospital the same day that the tornado and she died the next day, so we never get to say goodbye to her. And then in the tornado, you know, it flood everywhere and you have to park there. You're sleeping under the sky and it's still raining. There's a couch there, but it was really, really hard. We had no way to even say a prayer for her, have a mass for her, stuff like that. But anyway, well, that was in Delray Beach. So I went to Sarasota. A friend told me about a place where homeless people could stay. You know, you could get like a storage. You could get like an industrial storage. Unfortunately, the bathroom was outside. So that's like I can't even that's totally a yin and yang because it was so bad, but because she tried to kill me and shit, and she probably still hopefully she's not looking at this video, but maybe I don't know. But anyway, that propelled me even more, into where I am today. So when I went to Sarasota, that part of Florida, there were airplanes, and now there were like UFOs, strange lights, strange stuff. Of course, I don't know why there are always birds at 3 a.m. I actually have feathers that I caught from a bird. I was running and I looked up and I saw these things falling down. It was 2 feathers, and each one was from the right wing and one was from the left wing. That was so bizarre. I hid it so carefully that I friggin' lost it. But I have a picture of it. I'll show it to you one day. I tell my therapist, it all started before I was born. Literally, it did. My dad was a taxi driver, and my mom had a crush on him. My dad is East Indian, my mom is African. In those days, those two don't even match at all. And bastard children was totally looked down on. All 3, I guess that's my trinity. That's where my trinity began. I guess. So, he had an accident where he hit a guy on a bike. My mom was the witness. And just before going to court, went out together. Okay, so this, I have to tell you this, because they were never together, but I heard his story from her and I heard his story from him. So my mom told me how she had a crush. Actually, there were drums, and African love drums. There were drums, and my dad is East Indian, but we love drums too, tassa and stuff like that. My uncle was getting married, so that's how she first get to see my dad, and she had a crush on him. And she was a witness, whatever. But what happened is that this day, okay, this is how God work. On this day, there was no one in the taxi stand except him. He was the only taxi. She was the only passenger. And he took her to a certain part in Marval. The first time I went there, I didn't even know about the story at the time, but it's so beautiful. It's so peaceful. It's like you're not even walking. It's like you're floating. It's so wonderful. My astrologer told me when I was born, there was like soft rain falling. So anyway, he took her there. So here it is. Like I said, both of them told me the story separately because they were never together. Never. That was the only time was this time for me. My dad never felt anything about my mom. He never felt like he even entered her or anything. My mom never felt like even my dad was even there. All she felt a bucket of water she was soaking wet. That's it. That's how I began. So anyway, of course, like I said, bastard children will look down on. And when I was born with a veil over my face where they have to lift it up. So I am still psychic, but I don't, like go there. Like if we play in cards, automatically I could tell your future, or not your future, but I could tell what's happening. Sometimes it backfire and I actually could see my future in your cards, that kind of stuff. But we're not talking about that. My mom had to leave home very, very early. I could remember when I got christened. I could remember being outside on the blanket. I could remember when I was like 1 year, just started walking. My mom said I was born with one shoulder up. But I think it's because my shoulders are very broad to fit in her womb for the first kid, I think that's why. But I used to take a cat, walk to the end of the grass, drop it, throw the cat, and walk back. By the time I get back, the cat is there, throw it again, and I remember that. Sexually abused was definitely there because everybody was sexually abused at those times. I imagine in my family I was the only one with this type of hair, so naturally I was exploited a little bit, but thank goodness I don't remember much of it. It's like a blank in those things, and I kind of like thank whoever, whatever for it, because if I wasn't sexually abused, boy, I would have been such a whore. But being sexually abused subdued me, you know. And even the time that I work as an escort, I kind of like use that as therapy, as stuff like that. But that didn't work out because I'll tell you why the next time. I'll tell you why later. My mom had to leave home. They kick her out. I just remember they leave home. And then they give me like a big book with a pen. So go ahead, write your mom every day. And I used to write stuff. Of course, I didn't know to write, but that was my first lesson of breakup. You know, when you break up with someone leaving you. As a 1 year old, that was my first lesson. She left. She didn't leave. They would kick her out because she had me and she wasn't married. One of the things that happened when my mom was pregnant with me is that because of the sexual encounter with my dad, she did not believe she was pregnant for my dad. So she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend mom loved my mom. And when she heard my mom was pregnant, she bought baby clothes and she was so excited. And then when I was born, the nurse, I'm looking at my bottom lip. The nurse says, "This is your baby. I want you to see it so you don't say we give you a wrong child." And she was in shock from that point on. It's like, you know what it's called? It's like brain constipation. It's like so many thoughts in here, and then they come out and come out and come out, and eventually, hopefully, it will start coming out smooth. But I have to get it out as best as I can until I can get it out smooth. So please bear with me. Please bear with me. In 1986, before we came to America, we lived in the most beautiful house you will ever see. I have ever seen. Location. Oh my God. It's like the location, you just have to wait, okay? The location, let me see if I can explain, because Trinidad is mountains and valleys. So where we live was called Fort George. I guess, you know, they still have the cannon and stuff like that out there where you could have a really good lookout. As a matter of fact, it's so high up that we could see Venezuela lighting at night. So you're driving up to this mountain, and it's like a regular neighborhood, you know, not too shabby, not too good, and then all of a sudden you drive into the mountain. And then when you come out, you walk up to the stairs and you walk into a patio, and that's where we'll be waiting for you. And you could just see every single person without exception as they stepped on the patio and they look around. It's like, it friggin' take your breath away. I've never had a view like that ever again. I mean, actually the view wasn't 360 because over there was in neighborhood. It wasn't that good neighborhood. But as far you can see all the way to the ocean, like I said, all the way to Venezuela. I mean, it was picturesque. It was so beautiful. So it was a really shock for my kids when we came here, basement. So it was so strange when we came here for my kids. At first, of course, you know, I changed all the money we had. We came with like about $10,000 in cash. It was just in our pocket. We went to a hotel and we spent a couple of nights, and then he later became my husband, had a friend because he's a musician and I'm a dancer. So that put us up in a basement. It was a culture shock for the kids. The basement, you couldn't flush toilet paper. You got to put the paper on the side. And it was such a shock. But for 2 years, all we ate every single day. Every now and again, we'll change the menu, but we went right back. Curry, chicken, and rice. Every day. It was like an addiction. It was the only thing we could eat, like a dog, you know. The dog ate the same thing every day. That's all we ate for 2 years. But we didn't stay 2 years in New York. After 1 year, we got a job down here where I was pregnant. Actually, I just had one of my kids in New York. My first kid was born in New York, Richard. And so we came down here for a show. My husband, like I said, he don't play music no more, but he was a musician. His brother also, bass player. And I'm a dancer. I'm still that dancer. I remember when I used to walk the streets or in the mall, and people will stop me and say, "Hey, are you a dancer or actress or model?" And today, when people ask me, "What do you do?" and I say, "I'm a dancer," and they're like, "You're a dancer?" So anyway, back to the story. So then that's how we moved to Florida. Thank God, tropical weather, because I love New York. I want to go back to New York. But I'm going to put a toothpick. I don't want to sleep for a second. But I really love the vibes in New York. But when looking at the weather every day, Florida had so close to Trinidad, so I was happy to come here. My big motivation in coming to America, because I'm not the person to gimme. I have always been a win-win. I don't take without giving you. If I take something from you, I'll make sure you get more than what you give me. I'm a win-win kind of person. So when we came to Florida, that's when it opened up, because that's why I came to America. Have you heard of The World Got Talent? This is where it started. His name is Shah Muhammad. He is no longer, but he's the one with his brother who started a program, a cultural program for anyone who can sing, dance, play a musical instrument, a comedian, to showcase their talent. And that is why I came to America, to do that. However, in Trinidad, there was two. There was one for the African and there was one for the Indian. Okay, a little education on Trinidad is 40% African, 40% East Indian, and 20% is from people all over the world. When United Nations came to Trinidad, they said we could teach the world how to live. It's mixed like that. So back to the story. When I came here, it's to open a multicultural talent under the same thing. So we had a lot of experience in Trinidad, a lot, because backstage by the producers in the room, right there for rivals, they're doing the producing. I learned how to, where you cut it, like for example, okay, long story short, let's say you have a 30 minutes program. Your program is actually 28 minutes. 30 seconds to open, 30 seconds to close, and the other 30 seconds is like, a little commercial, whatever in between. Providing, it depends if it's a commercial program or non-commercial. So I learned all that stuff, and I came here, and that's what I wanted to do. But when I you see how I'm talking? I don't even know if you understand what I'm saying, because nobody did. And I spoke to people who was in the backstage with me to try to do it with me. And when I turned around, fuck, they were doing their own show. But the only thing about it is that whilst I'm talking about a whole page, they were only seeing a dot. You understand? That's why that's why it's around the world. So I don't want to go just Indian program. I don't want to go just African program. Multicultural. That's why I am Natraj Shakti multicultural dancers. Yes, dancers, because I am more than one. So that's where America's Got Talent started. And not much people looking at this video right now. But even when I pass on, you will have, this will be in record. You could go back and look at this, come back, not go back. You will be able to come back and look at this record anytime. I wrote, when I realized I couldn't get anybody to go with me, I wrote The whole program from the beginning, where the commercials would go, where did everything, the whole program. The theme of the program was this: anybody, anyone who can sing, dance, play a musical instrument, etc., etc. But not just anyone who could sing and dance. The hard-working mother, fathers, this one, just to provide, to get the people going. But you can use your talent. I'm speaking to artists now. You know what it is like, giving your talent and your energy to corporate, when really what you want to do is produce your talent. And that is why I wanted to do this program. I wrote a letter explaining every single thing, 11 letters in an envelope like this. And I sent it in first because, it's music. So I sent it in to BET, VH1, Fox, NBC, anyway, everybody who was at the top of the time. I just sent it in. And it was my last, I don't remember, it was either 23 or whatever dollars. Because I got to feed my kids. And I know if they try to get in touch with me, they won't. You know why? Because I'm a moving soul. I keep moving. When I fill out my application to get my citizenship, you have to do a geography of all the... I had over 108 different zip codes. Some of them repeated, granted, but still, that's a lot of moving. And I stopped counting after that. I have not stopped moving. I don't know why. That's between me and God and my karma, So right now I'm like settled, and all of a sudden my life is becoming better. What's gonna benefit? If you make it to the auditions, I know. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you different stuff because I don't want certain stuff to get out there. But I know how to do this. From the time you enter the door with an audition, I would have a little baggy pack for you because, oh my God, I know when I went to my audition, I had to take a bus, I had to take this, I had to walk all miles. I would have a little baggy pack for you waiting as you walk in. Okay, a little refreshment, something. Once you make it on stage, on the audition stage, you will get something. Once you perform, whether you come first, second, whatever, you will get something. Everybody wins. That's the whole theme of the story. Everybody wins because as an artist, you will know what it is like to struggle. My social security is like less than $300. You know why? Because I never work. I cannot work. I'm a dancer. I teach dance and I make the money. It's just like, just figure it out. I dance in a strip club. I still didn't make no money because, whatever, we talk about that later. But as an artist, if you're an artist, you know what I'm talking about. Any kind of artist. I want to reach out to you and appeal to you right now. You know why? Fuck this shit. You know why? When I wrote this whole program to the television programs about America's Got Talent or the World's Got Talent, there was a little piece on the bottom that say there's a follow-up and a part 2. I'll tell you what the follow-up is. The follow-up was this. For the winners, all the winners of the show, what we were going to do is take the winners and do a tour in our country first. But it will take like about maybe a couple of years to do a tour in your own country first and then do a tour around the world. The winners I'm talking about. People will go to see the winners, and especially if you put a couple headliners in there, they will definitely come to see the winners of whatever year that is. So that's like a continuous money making, awareness of talent, spreading of the talent, So that was the second part to that show, but they never did that because I guess they make enough money right there. I don't know what they did with the winners after they win, whatever. But for me, the winners, if we were gonna approach the movie industry, like the music industry, like whatever part of the talent you come from, we were gonna approach that part of the industry to make sure you get a cleach in there, and at least you get your foot in. So however you go from there, that's up to you. So that was that. America's Got Talent, the World's Got Talent. I didn't get any credit for it. I don't mind, because it's my karma. Maybe in one life, yeah, you saw that movie Footloose, where the guy was, nobody's gonna dance here. Maybe I was a Hitler for arts in my last life, so that's why I didn't get no credit for it. So that's okay. It's not about the money. Like I said, it's not about the money. Money is not everything. It sure is a hell of a lot. It sure is a lot nice to have it, but it's not everything. So let's do this. There is a parallel project. That's the one at the bottom. I told you what is the follow-up to the Winners Americas of the talent show. The winners, what we would do with them, what we would have done with them. But the little piece at the bottom is the other part. And this, I don't want to talk about it at all, but I could tell you, I wanted to do America's Got Talent on YouTube. I wanted to make this program on YouTube, because a lot of places, they don't get all the programs, but everywhere gets YouTube. I don't know if it's blocked in some places, so I got to research that. But this next project, if you're an artist, if you're a producer in art form, and you're familiar with America's Got Talent, this next project may be for you. I'm careful of who I tell my stuff to now, because it is taking on. So I don't want to talk about it now. So I don't want to talk about it now like that, but there's the next project. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about this project. This project is a combination. Well, actually, there's an element that isn't there yet. Dang! What a good idea. We're going to be adding a new element. Okay, so this project is a combination of Miss World, Miss Universe, The World's Got Talent, and the other part, I'm not telling you yet, because there's a next element is like not added yet, and it's, what do I expect out of this project? Of course, monetary wise, it's going to be profitable. There's no question about it. So that's not what I'm looking for. How much can I take with me? What I'm looking for this next project is actually going to save the world. It actually is going to save the world. It's not going to save the world. It's going to save mankind. Because everything we have now, we already did. And we destroyed ourselves. This next project is going to stop that. It's going to wake us up. So we don't keep repeating the same thing over and over. Because every time we get to this point, we destroy ourselves and we have to start over. My name is Veronika. Here's some free ways you can support me. You can like, you can subscribe, you can save my video in a playlist, so later you can watch it all the way to the end. And I want to ask you a question. I can ask you to